G'day guys, welcome back to another Death Valley Gaming video. Guys, the death of FPS shooters has just happened. What you're about to watch in this video is going to upset you, it's going to aggravate you, and you know how recently you think, geez, am I getting worse at Valorant? Or other people just getting a lot better? The sad reality is, it's not you. So, don't worry, what you're about to watch is the truth, the facts and the evidence. Now, I'd like to thank my operations manager of my Twitch stream, who has gone and beyond and to excess to find me this information to share with you. But I'd like to put a big shout out to Book of Fish. Thank you so much. You have made this episode possible. So I'm just going to play you a video that I've caught on VOD with the first person to admit they're using hackbots. More will be explained as the video goes on. Anyway, let's get into it. Have a good night, guys. Alright, so there's two people who are friends of the enemy team and are also bots. Thank you.
Reloading.
And clearly not you. Probably these two. Snoopy and Feet Finder. Cool. They're both bots too.
Move.
Thanks, Sage.
Reloading. Enemy spike down. Attacker spawns. I have this bite.
We knew they were from the start, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay, both
planning A.
Neon and Yoru will be receiving the same permanent life bans and account losses and purchase losses
One
early
enemy
next week with an
remaining.
email from Riot with legal letter attachment as you're using highly
Last player
illegal
standing.
AI technology. You've committed federal offences and yeah, threats to national security. Well done, you morons. See, they just came back to their computers. And that's a bot for you. Every time. To see how they both said what happened? Because they were away from their computers, see?
Yep.
They've run their bots. They heard it probably over the speaker. Great effort, mate. Great effort. Yeah, they're teleporting all around you.
Wait, what did you say about me? So I heard you say something about me.
So you got caught using bots, buddy. You've lost your accounts. Enjoy your life ban.
I got caught using what?
Cloud-based visual. Can you turn that music off?
I swear to God, I'm not using aimbot.
No, you're using a cloud-based visual hack bot instead, kid.
No, I swear to God, I'm not.
I swear to God you are.
Can I have
Because you know
spike?
how I know?
Okay.
I've been in IT for over 20 years.
No, please,
I'm at the
Spike.
very forefront of what's going on with AI at the moment. You got done with your mates on the enemy team.
Sure, get right to check me. I literally don't give a shit.
Alright, enjoy your life bans, enjoy your legal letter. Have a good day.
Yep.
See? These fucking idiot kids.
Yep, he's
so
too
fucking
enough
smart.
with it. Can I have spike now? You get killed in the meantime. Cool.
Reloading.
Yep.
Last player standing. Spike down. Attacker spawn.
I have no skins on this account, so yeah, I literally couldn't kill this. And also, I'm not using aimbot, so.
So, because you haven't got skins, you're using a hackbot account, dude.
Remaining.
Yeah, so what's to stop me from going to make another account? Quick question.
Okay, so you'll be hardware banned,
Last
life
round in
banned,
the half.
IP banned, and you'll be banned in every you're going on developer watch list straight away as well. So any game you play from here in, right, you'll be monitored. If you do the
Do you mean
slightest
any
dodgy
Riot
thing-
game?
No.
I can just
No,
play
it's
fucking
called
Fortnite.
it's called an industry-wide dev watch list, kid. If you fuck up anywhere,
interesting.
you are
I actually didn't know.
if you are immediately life banned. Plus, you're under the age of 13. You're about what, 8? So you've made up a false account as well.
Sorry, I actually am 13. I'm serious.
No, you're not. I'm a parent of 2 children above the age of 13. You're not 13.
Nah, what? Huh? No, I am above the age of 13.
You've lied to me about your bots, then told me the truth about your bots.
Sorry, your story sounds a tad bit unbelievable.
Your story is utterly unbelievable, kid, because you're a terrible liar. Okay, so look, you're gonna get your email, pop it on the chin, learn from it, find another game to play in future, and don't cheat. Alright? Get good. Because getting good is all about how to live in the real world. You can't cheat your way through a job.
Bro, I got my friend with me right now as well. You can. My friend will help.
Enemy remains.
Okay, see, Lord Diablo, that's called skill.
Add me on Discord. I'll send you a picture of my screen right now. I'll send you a picture of my Discord homepage.
Mate, I've been in IT for over 20 years. I know every workaround there is. Okay, have a good day.
Okay. I know, wait, this is weird as. Like, I'm not even cheating. This is actually the weirdest thing.
You know, the funny thing is, you're a terrible liar and you got caught. Stop, please, for your sake. Fucking these kids, man.
Yeah.
Underage kids.
I love it how you brought me into it.
Yeah.
Let's
That
make
was
some
fucking
chaos.
Reloading.
And I'm top fragging.
Well, he's gone. Alrighty, guys. So, guys, today we have the most horrifying evidence about the new bot infestation into Valorant specifically and other FPS shooters. What I'm about to show you is a cut down video of somebody that has gone and breached every one of these rules here. This is Ultra Analytics. They're the people that run the YOLO 5 and YOLO 8, which is the new AI programming language. And one of the main prerequisite requirements of using this software for personal use is these things. So, infringes or violates intellectual property rights or any other rights of anyone else, including Ultralytics, violates any law or regulation, including without limitation any applicable export control laws, is harmful, fraudulent, deceptive, threatening, harassing, defamatory, obscene, or otherwise objectionable, jeopardizes the security of Ultra Analytics account or anyone else's, such as allowing someone else to log in to the service as you, attempts in any manner to obtain the password, account, or other security information from another user, violates the security of a computer's network or cracks any passwords or security encryption codes, crawls, scrapes, or spiders any page data or portion of or relating to the service or content through the use of manual automated means, copies or stores any significant portion of the content, decompiles, reverse engineers, or otherwise attempts to obtain the source code or the underlying ideas of information of or relating to the services. Now, what you're about to see is a guy that hacked Valorant to make these bots with. A violation of any of the foregoing is grounds for termination of your rights to use or access the service. Now, this is the part where we talk about the level of illegality. These people have hacked and reverse engineered and hacked the source code for Valorant and put the bots in and done everything they've done that you're about to watch to the fullest extent allowed by applicable law under no circumstances and under no legal theory, including without limitation, tort, contract, strict liability or otherwise, shall label box or its licensors or suppliers be liable to any other person for any indirect, special, incidental or consequential damages of any kind, including damages for lost profits, loss of goodwill, work stoppages, amount paid by you to the label box in connection with the services in the 12-month period preceding this applicable claim, or any matters beyond our reasonable control. Some states do not allow the exclusion or limitation of certain damages, so the above limitations and exclusions may not apply to you. Indemnity. To the fullest extent allowed by the applicable law, you agree to indemnify and hold Ultralytics, its affiliates and officers, agents, employees and partners harmless from and against all claims, liabilities, damages, actual and consequential losses and expenses, including attorney's fees arising from, or if any related to, third-party claims relating to a or your use of the service, including any actions taken by a third party using your account. And B, your violation of these terms in the event of such a claim, suit or action, so getting charged formally and arrested and jailed for this shit, we will attempt to provide notice to the claim to the contact information we have for your account. Provide that failure to deliver such notice shall not eliminate or reduce your indemnification obligations hereunder. So, then we move on to arbitration and charges and legal issues and all of the laws you break worldwide. We're talking about a minimum 10-year jail sentence with no parole period. Minimum. For each and every single breach of the terms of service of Ultra Analytics, who are the ones who are the AI software technology developers who created the platform for people to use for specific reasons only. And those licensable reasons are, for the most part and mainly, industry and enterprise applications. Personal use is for personal use. That means if you're a university student doing your thesis on AI, this would be specifically personal use for the application of your PhD, your thesis. Not to be reproduced, not to be shared in public, not to be used for any commercial application or third-party application, i.e. hacking. What I'm about to show you now, guys, is the outcome of people that have blatantly either not bothered to read this or just don't care. These are true cyber criminals, people that could ruin your life with a click of a button. Okay, these people do not abide by the law. They do not live in reality. They create their own digital existence. Most of them live in the dark web or the deep web. These are not human beings. These are subhumans that are doing all this. And what you're about to watch in this video is a blatant breach of federal arbitration acts and applicable federal laws worldwide. Not just retained to the state of California in America, but worldwide. That's digital law. Digital law doesn't change anywhere in the world. It's all the same, no matter what country you're in. Poland even, Russia, still the same thing. It's a breach of international cyber law and security protections for the human rights. It's how it is. All I'm going to say to you is watch this next part. Now, I've cut this video down for common sense sake because he gabbles on and gabbles on and gabbles on. And no, I'm not going to share you his link to his video because I don't want you other kids that think you might be able to get away with this, do something and make something else for another game, which has already happened anyway. But I'm not going to be a source of information that allows you to get yourself into trouble. I'm here to stop it, not help it, okay? So don't ask me in the comments, and Jesus, don't even attempt this. Once we've watched that, I'm going to show you the updated video of what we come up against today in Valorant, or the last couple of weeks in Valorant, to a point now where there was an update done on Saturday night with these bots, to the point where they are now overclocked. They are literally impossible to beat, and I'll explain that after that part of the video coming forward. Please sit down, watch the video. It's super important. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it's dry, but it's going to directly affect your future as kids more than mine. We are looking at coming towards the digital identification stage where your fingerprint is your digital identity. your credit cards, your key cards, your bank details, your passport, your driver's license, your birth certificate, everything about you is going to be biometric very soon. No more physical plastic cards and chips in them and all that crap. You will be your own digital signature. And this maybe ruin that for you for the rest of your life. If you've already cheated, you've hacked, or you've done something stupid like this on the internet already. You may be one of the lepers of the digital era in the next year or so. Welcome to the video.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Valorant. If you don't know Valorant, it's one of the most popular Counter-Strike game modes, right after Dust 2. I do have friends that play Valorant, but I have to admit I'm just not very good at it. But what if I could teach a computer to play? Computers, after all, are great at taking tedious work off our shoulders. What if they could do for us the tedious work of actually playing Valorant? I wanted to make this as fair a challenge as possible by not giving the computer any special knowledge. The way bots usually work in Counter-Strike and other games is that they're directly hooked into the game and have access to the raw data of the game, but they're dumbed down to play at human levels. My bot is different because it only has the same inputs and outputs that a human would. Here, I have two computers. Computer number 1 has Valorant installed on it and nothing else. Computer number 2 can see what's on the screen of computer number 1 using a video capture device, and it can send mouse and keyboard commands to this Logitech dongle. Those are the only two connections between these computers. No poking memory, no debuggers, no funny business with network traffic or anything like that. And because I know someone's going to ask, I have to say that I'm not sharing the code. People are going to misunderstand this as some kind of exploit, and once you see how poorly it plays, you might not want the code anyways. I do want to make future videos about this, so if there's anything you want to see in more detail, just let me know. To make all of this work, I needed to teach the AI how to recognize enemies, shoot, and move around in the game. The core to all of this is computer vision. I needed to create a machine learning model to which I can feed an image of the game. Then, the model needs to be able to detect where things are and what type of object it is. Luckily for me, there are many pre-trained models online so that I don't have to start from scratch. By applying transfer learning, an existing vision model can learn to recognize different objects than the ones it was originally trained on. I chose one called Faster RCNN, which seemed pretty powerful. This actually turned out to be a problem later on, but it was easy to get started with. By the way, I should warn you that anytime I say easy in this video, I actually mean really frickin' frustrating. Part of the reason is that I don't have a PhD in machine learning or AI, which is a basic requirement for doing machine learning. In fact, the PyTorch library that I use doesn't even let you download it unless you have a PhD. Even if you make it past that obstacle, good luck getting all the libraries to work. But instead of complaining about software, let me tell you about training the model. The basic technique of teaching computers how to recognize things in images is to give it a lot of examples with the answer already recorded by a human. Normally this is done by a grad student or other sweatshop labor, but I had to do it myself. I found Valorant VODs on Twitch, split the video into individual frames, and went through them one by one, drawing boxes around the objects in the image. It's actually surprisingly enjoyable. If Valve made this into a mobile game, I'd probably play it. After a few hours of work, I had about 1,000 labeled images. I set aside some of them to use as the validation dataset while leaving the majority for training. The training process involves showing each image to the neural network and comparing the result against the ground truth that I labeled. Every time it's wrong, we measure how wrong it is and tweak the neurons a little. Over time, the neurons change until the right answers come out and everyone is happy. I trained the model on my GTX 1070 for about 2 hours, and the results were surprisingly good. Here are some Twitch clips that were labeled by the model. Pretty good, yeah? I slapped this computer vision model onto some code that streams from a video capture card, and voila! There's just one problem. The latency was terrible. I mean, look at that. At just 6 frames per second, by the time it recognized what was on screen, the actual object would have moved somewhere else. Just to check, I trained a new model on Kovac's aim trainer and instructed it to instantly shoot every target it sees. And as you can tell, it's pretty bad. I even tried it out on an RTX 3080, which managed to run at about 13 frames per second. That's better, but not quite fast enough. So I decided to give up trying to improve the faster RCNN model and started searching online. I ended up choosing a model called YOLO version 5. And for you younger viewers, YOLO was this meme from the early 2010s. The good news was that I could convert all my existing labels and feed them into the YOLO model. I tried training with 5 epochs, and it worked. Wait, this is the ground truth image. Wow, it's actually really bad. I mean, this is just a half an hour of training, so I can't really expect too much, but it needs to get a lot better. And sure enough, after training for 2 hours, it could recognize a lot of things. And better yet, I was getting 20 frames per second even on my obsolete GTX 1070. By the way, a lot of the fun in AI is that weird border between correct and incorrect. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so in this image for some reason, it's labeled this Reina trail as an enemy. Kind of a really long, stretched enemy, I guess. In this one, there is one correct enemy in the middle, and to the right of that, somehow it thinks the sparks from the gun form an enemy. Okay, the far friendly on the left side, that's actually just a mark on the texture. Not sure where that came from. Here, it thinks that the paint shell is a molly. The computer vision algorithm has no idea if things are moving or not, it just sees everything as a still frame. And it's clearly learned somehow that these weird splatters on the ground are mollies. One enemy in the middle, that's correct, but that spike on the right is definitely not right. The spike label is for planted bombs, and that shell that's being injected is clearly not a bomb. Okay, molly, that's not a molly, that's a stim beacon. I was feeling pretty confident at this point, but there is still a lot of work left to do. The computer vision model is good at recognizing objects, but not good at knowing where it is in the world. It can't say which direction it's pointing or even what map it's on. I figured that the best way to make sure the AI knows where it is to use the minimap. I can scan the minimap with circles, filter for a specific size, and check the color of each circle to know the locations of myself, my allies, and any visible enemies. This is kind of imprecise, so I used this information in conjunction with some basic dead reckoning to know where I am. For example, if I turn my mouse slightly to the right, and then push the right arrow key, and then the forward arrow key, I can guess my speed and direction to estimate where I am. You can see how individually, each technique can be pretty bad, but together, the quality is usable. Similarly, I can scan the top bar to know which portrait spaces are empty or not in order to count the players. And if the bomb icon is showing, then I know the bomb is planted. To help with navigation, I made a black and white version of the map where the areas that can't be reached are black. Using this, I can do basic pathfinding over the map. At this point, all of it was purely theoretical because I hadn't actually worked on the second half of the control loop, which is actually controlling the game. And I think it's worth explaining how that works here because it's pretty unusual. Normally, bots and other automation tools like AutoHotkey use Windows APIs, like send input, to send virtual commands to another program. But this means you need to have additional software on the same computer as the game, which I'm not doing. Instead, I'm just using a Logitech wireless dongle. Think about it. Your wireless mouse is basically a radio that's shouting its movements over the air up to 1,000 times a second. I have here a radio that can broadcast on the same frequency as wireless mice. If I tell it to shout the same mouse messages, the Logitech dongle doesn't know or care that it didn't come from an actual mouse. And it's not just Logitech. If you use a wireless mouse, there's a good chance that anyone nearby can see and control what you're doing. But the good news is that this gave me a way to control the player from another computer. I wrote some code that used the AI's internal idea of the game state to make some basic movements. For a couple maps, I marked out the strategic points on the map, and then made the bot choose a location to go based on the current game phase. The results were pretty bad. There's a lot of stuff going wrong, like mixing up positive and negative directions, some kind of desynchronization issue between the mouse and the game state, and just a lot of Python bugs. Anyways, many bug fixes later, I had something that could kind of go around the map. This footage shows the AI picking random points on the map to go to. Getting stuck on corners was a big problem. This is partly because the pathfinding is kind of low res, but also because the precision of checking the minimap for its location is pretty low. Unfortunately, there wasn't a one-size-fits-all solution, so I also added an ugly hack to simply choose a new destination after a certain amount of time. After making these changes, I ran into another obstacle. Up until now, I had only been able to send mouse commands to the Logitech dongle. My workaround was to bind extra mouse buttons to movement, but the game only supports a maximum of 6 buttons, so I didn't have any extra buttons for things like switching weapons, planting the bomb, etc. The root problem is that Logitech patched the security hole in unifying receivers that let hackers easily send keystrokes to any dongle. And with this capability, I could work on adding important gameplay capabilities like planting the bomb, buying weapons, and trash talking in chat. By the way, it was at this point that I decided to get the Asus Zephyrus gaming laptop that you saw earlier. It's got a mobile RTX 3060, and it only took me an entire day to figure out how to install the dependencies in Miniconda. Now that all the pieces were in place, it was time to test it out in a custom match.
Okay, so it doesn't use audio.
Remember to talk to each other out there.
It doesn't
We
get
communicate, we win.
But video capture card can't get audio.
No, I see.
I forgot to make the buy. Also, it's not recognizing you. You're too close. Quick pause because I thought this was interesting. The neural network doesn't recognize enemies when they're really close, and I think it's because in virtually all of the training data, the enemy is far away because that's usually what happens in real games. Something else that happened here again and also happens throughout this video is that the AI thought it was looking downwards when it wasn't, which totally throws off the aim calculations. This kind of desync happens quite a bit, and I'm not totally sure where the bug is yet.
Yeah, it hit me twice, I think. It's pretty solid. There you go.
Okay, it's going A. How did you just walk that? So, as you can see, it's not very good at this game. Unfortunately, that's its current state as of today, but there's a huge list of things that could be improved, ranging from fixing the view angle calculation, adding recoil control, checking corners, lowering latency, and maybe even using the audio hints. And it doesn't have the game sense and prediction capabilities that good human players have either. We've seen computer AIs do very well at games like StarCraft, so we know a lot of these challenges are solvable. The additional complexity of having a real-time computer vision feedback loop is also something that the field of robotics has a lot of experience with, and in fact, this is a very similar problem to that of self-driving cars. But just like in Valorant, if you're going to turn over control to a computer, you have to be okay with dying in situations that a human would have handled just fine.
Computer cipher. Back off.
Remaining.
Alright guys, now you've seen everything. Now, where we're at as of Saturday, compared to what you just saw with the one tap everything. Damage mitigation, bullets going straight through, so invulnerability hacks, teleport hacks, damage swap hacks. So if you shoot the bot in the head and the chest for 2, and it's automatically always shooting you in the chest for 2 or 4, right? Which is the standard. Or if it's in the head once and 4 in the chest, yeah. If you outdo it and you double head tap it, or you head tap it and kill it, it'll swap the damage over. So the damage you've done to it, it then throws back and does to you, and the damage it does to you, you do to it. Awesome, hey? Damage mitigation. You'll shoot someone with a phantom for maybe, one in the head, two in the chest, and it'll do 120 damage to it, but the damage it does to you is 160 for exactly the same amount of bullets placed on the head and chest. Yeah. Watch my VODs. All there. Happens repeatably. Time and time again. Now, my last couple of VODs from Saturday had to end early because now these bots are literally invincible. We had a team of Ascendants get wiped round after round. Ascendants, guys, got wiped because they were shooting these things in the head, bullets going straight to their chest and head. In some cases, weren't even registering any damage because, invulnerability hacks. These things were teleporting behind the team left, right, and center, all on video on the Twitch channel. Check it out. And prior to that, check out my previous VOD, right? I've had to adjust my play style to everything I've ever done. And then I got 30 kills, 25 kills, 30 kills per match. Mostly headshots. Because the only way you can take these damn things down is 1 to 2 headshots. The only way you can effectively and reliably take these things down. So, if you want to play Valorant right now, especially at a competitive level, get your headshot aim in without question. No body shots, because you'll have to shoot them 8 times, 9 times in the body to have 3 to 4 bullets actually register, because the rest go through them. Right, damage mitigation, bullet mitigation, the phantom bullets, they're shooting at you because they're AI bullets, they're not real bullets from the gun that's actually shooting at you by the bot. These things are breaking every single possible rule in relation to Unreal Engine 5, the game itself, Valorant, and just every rule there is to an FPS shooter. Because these things are algorithms. They're not people. They don't feel. They are looking at win and loss ratios. They are looking at the best and most effective way of getting a kill on you and beating you. And if it's to teleport here, teleport there, all over the place, I've got hours and hours and hours of footage showing this happening. Bots spawning right in front of me, self-resing themselves. You name it, these things are doing it, okay? Headshots through walls that you can't shoot through, unbangable walls, the list goes on, guys. Industry itself is way behind the 8 ball on this. Now, a little bit of a side note, Warzone 2.0, all of the cheating, hacking, dog, rat, hackers, cheaters, streamers, should I say, sorry, cheaters, streamers, it's the same kind of thing, swag and all the rest of them, Activision have just now give them a life ban button when they report. So they click life ban and Activision staff don't have it. Ricochet, nothing has anything to do with it. These streamers are directly life banning players that call them out and catch them out. So on Call of Shame, Supergirl, who was right in there with the thick of it, she's got life banned because of swag, phase swag. The developers know FPS shooters are dead. You now know FPS shooters are dead. Industry does not have an answer to this. The only thing that might, at this stage, compared to definitely would have, or can, or will, or is going to, but now might be able to stop this once and for all, is Waldo Vision. Check out AnyBrain Waldo Vision, or just type in Waldo Vision in Google, bring it up the website, check it out. Guys, Waldo Vision should have come out in January, really, to combat this. They're going through beta, they're making sure it's going to work properly forever, blah, 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 and the AI is ahead of this other hacker AI that's already running these bots. there needs to be a tightening up of digital law to the point where the American CIA get involved, because this is a threat to national security for their country, our country. Our federal police are literally useless. We've already ascertained that of recent, where computer software algorithms mitigate the message sent, and no human gets to look at it. Yep. So the federal police are taking a holiday from doing their job as well. So we're kind of screwed here in Australia, right? Only we, the gamers, the end users, the enterprise workstation users, everyone who's anyone, if you're catching any of this stuff happening, viruses, malware like Black Lotus, you're catching this kind of crap in games, all these people are doing is feeding multi-trillion-dollar hacker industry. Yes, multi-trillion-dollar. They are making more money than business. This is not a joke. This is a fact. Okay, you're feeding criminals all this money to make AI that's going to kill us all. Watch my previous video. It's all there. And these stupid kids, like that kid at the start of the video, psychopath. Doesn't matter what age you are, you can be a psychopath from birth, right? That kid's a psychopath and a narcissist and a terrible liar and underage. Guys, look, Riot doesn't have an answer for this yet. Activision Blizzard does not have an answer for this yet. Ubisoft most certainly does not have an answer for this yet. None of the indies, nobody. This has only been around in its actual released beta form for the last 4 weeks, anniversary of Saturday, with the anniversary of Saturday being the full retail release of these bots. And these things were being overclocked by users. Okay? So this is not a joke. These kids press one key on their keyboard, Bob's your uncle, it takes over, they walk away from their computer. You saw it at the start of the video as well. This said generation are massively undereducated. That's the government's fault, that's the education department's fault. Letting so many psychopaths become teachers. The lack of mental health services we have in Australia is criminal. And now we're having criminals take advantage of kids, stealing, because they've got no morals and principles and ethics and human decency, stealing their parents' credit cards to pay for this shit for 24 hours at a time. Yeah, big money. Caught a kid on Thursday last week or Wednesday last week who had spent $500 on a stolen legitimate user's account from a hack site. He admitted to it. And left the game, mid-game. Because he knew he got caught and he didn't want to lose his $500 that he spent on his parents' credit card without them knowing. So, we need to look at this and look at it firmly and accept we have a massive problem with a young generation which doesn't have boundaries, doesn't know what consequence is, doesn't have morals, principles and ethics, and is highly uneducated to the dangers of the real world that they live in. Now, all these hackers are going to do is give all the details of these kids that have bought these hacks and their parents' credit card details to the authorities when they finally catch up with them. It's not if, it's when. Okay? And every one of these parents are going to have to explain to the authorities why they let their child use their credit card to buy hacks online. Think about that for a second. How many parents are going to have their face go pure white like a bit of reflex A4 paper, look at their child and start crying, knowing that their child is a piece of garbage and had stolen from them and have put them in an extremely dangerous, illegal, aiding and abetting situation, benefiting the proceeds of crime. And as the child is under 18 years of age, the parents will be arrested. These kids don't care though. They don't think about their parents. They don't think about the consequences of what they're doing. They think they're going to get caught. There's no consequences in life. So the parents get arrested for what the child did. The child goes to juvenile jail as well because, his hardware gets seized by the authorities and then everything is found. The child gets done for larceny from stealing from their parents. The parents get charged for failing to, stop these children of theirs committing federal crimes and obviously failed parenting, right? So that's what is it called? Abandonment of parental responsibilities, which is a federal crime in itself, and they can get how many ever years in jail minimum for that, and they can't argue it because the end result's the end result. So parents and children are going to go to jail at the end of this because of today's kids not understanding what they're doing to their parents or care. And that's what scares me. The screen is the solution for all parents to have their kids out of their hair for an hour or 2 or 5 or 10. But at the same time, these kids are stealing from them and they're as bad as each other, in my opinion, as a parent. Guys, look, this is real. This is happening. These are the facts. This is how it is. The death of FPS gaming is now, and there is no coming back from it anytime soon. Waldo Vision is our last little pinprick of hope that we might have for the end of this year, start of next year. But by then, I think the damage would be too far gone. Too much damage. Companies shutting down these FPS shooters. Going up against people for multiple liability lawsuits. Yeah, end use license agreements, guys, they've been massively breached and blatantly breached by the developers. Someone's going to eventually stand up and do something and sue them. People that obviously have money, not like us, rest of us who don't. But those people can then shut these companies down and then kill gaming for everybody forever. Yeah? That's all gaming, not just FPS shooters. That's the whole entire entertainment industry of gaming shut down from one mother and father who are willing to take action, legal action against their child, and the developer for failing to abide by the end user license agreement, which we've discussed before. Fun, safe, and secure environment. None of those things are being achieved by Riot, Activision, Ubisoft, any developer as we speak in relation to this bot scourge. The next thing that's going to happen with these bots is you're going to have your data stolen, your login details stolen, even with two-factor authentication. Don't think that's impervious. And then we're going to have credit card details getting stolen, bank details, driver's license details, birth certificate details, passport details, your entire identity stolen. And then someone in Dubai buys a mansion under your name. Not a joke. You need to step up alongside me and do what needs to be done for the sake of our very human existence at this stage. AI is no joke. It can be used for fantastic, wonderful things. But people by nature are choosing it overwhelmingly for very evil, dangerous, negative things. Because those people, the psychopaths, the sociopaths, and the narcissists, haven't been wiped out through natural selection because of the left wing and bureaucracy, red tape, and people that don't even have children. Do they survive in our world and they thrive? We need to have a change in the way the world works. I'm not the person to make that happen, but if we all got together and said something, maybe there'd actually be change finally. Anyway, guys, I'm Death Valley, and I'll catch you in the wasteland. Peace out. Cheers.